ACC 214. Accounting Ethics and Corporate Governance 1. Study Session 1. Meaning and Concept of Ethics, Principles, Morals, and Value. Introduction. The subject of ethics has been a central focus and of great concern to individuals, the governments, and corporate organizations globally. In this study session, you will learn the concept, meaning, principles of ethics, and also morals and values. Concept of ethics. Ethics is at the front burner of every society. Societies operate or conduct themselves according to some ethical instructions or procedures. Without such procedures, the society would go into anarchy and eventually collapse. Socrates was the first among the group of philosophers who made attempt to construct a rational basis for right conduct. This he based on the theory of ethics on knowledge. Professionally speaking, as accountants, further questions are raised when it comes to ethics, such as 1. When will it be said that an accountant or auditor is said not to be acting ethically? 2. Can we really have an acceptable and comprehensive code of conduct? 3. What are the stipulated and explicit penalties involved when ethical standards are violated by accounting members? 4. Are there really professional accountants who have been cautioned or penalized for unethical misdemeanors? 5. How should accountants or practitioners handle potentially ethical dilemmas or jobs that may pose a serious threat to their professions? Meaning of ethics. Ethics is defined as the study of moral principles and values that regulate the actions and decisions of an individual or group. Ethics involves learning what is right and wrong, and then, doing the right thing in a given society. The word ethics can be taken to mean moral philosophy. It is a philosophical discipline that brings the rational and deliberate aspect of human behavior to light. It provides solutions to such questions as to why and how people act in a certain way. Ethics is further viewed as follows. 1. The science of morals. 2. A philosophy. 3. A code or an ethical code. Principles of ethics. 1. Trustworthiness. 2. Loyalty. 3. Respect. 4. Responsibility. 5. Fairness and equity. 6. Empathy. 7. Citizenship. Morals and values. The words ethics and morals are frequently used interchangeably. Ethics refer to behavior customary in our culture or society. Ethics may change as a person moves from one society to the next. Morals refer to personal standards of right and wrong. Morals do not change as a person moves from one society to the next. Moral reasoning can be defined as being the process in which an individual tries to determine the difference between what is right and what is wrong in a personal situation by using logic. Values define what is important to you. They are your guiding principles and beliefs. They define how you live your life, and they inform your ethics. There are 4 components of moral behavior. 1. Moral sensitivity. 2. Moral judgment. 3. Moral motivation. 4. Moral character. Schwartz summarized the main features of the conception of basic values implicit in the writings of many theorists and researchers as follows. 1. Values are beliefs. 2. Values are a motivational construct. 3. Values transcend specific actions and situations. 4. Values guide the selection or evaluation of actions, policies, people, and events. 5. Values are ordered by importance relative to one another. Summary of Study Session 1. In Study Session 1, please note the following. 1. Ethics focuses on human conduct. It is predominantly concerned with the quest of human or professional acts, such as when an action is either right or wrong. 2. Ethics is defined as the study of moral principles and values that regulate the actions and decisions of an individual or group. 3. The 7 fundamental ethical values assigned to ethical behavior are trustworthiness, loyalty, respect, responsibility, fairness and equity, empathy, citizenship. 4. The words ethics and morals are frequently used interchangeably. Ethics refer to behavior customary in our culture or society. Ethics may change as a person moves from one society to the next. Morals refer to personal standards of right and wrong. Morals do not change as a person moves from one society to the next. Values define what is important to you. They are your guiding principles and beliefs. They define how you live your life, and they inform your ethics. Study Session 2. Value System and Importance of Studying Ethics. Introduction. When people act in a certain way, it is because they have some personal principles guiding their actions. These principles may be based on the right things or the wrong things. In this study, You will learn the meaning of the value system and the importance of studying ethics. Meaning of value system. Values are defined as enduring beliefs that are personally or socially preferable to converse beliefs, which transcend specific situations, and which guide selection or evaluation of behavior. There are three universal human requirements that form the basis for all values. 1. The need for biological survival. 2. The demand for social interaction. 3. Social and institutional demands for group welfare. Importance of studying ethics. According to A.E.V, specifically, ethics does the following. 1. It safeguards the profession. 2. It serves as guidance to the staff of an organization. 3. It reduces risks associated with business dealings. 4. It helps to secure long-term shareholder value. 5. It assists in safeguarding the reputation of an individual profession and organization. 6. It helps to set out the ideals and responsibilities of the profession. 7. It improves the profile of the profession. 8. It provides guidance on acceptable conduct. 9. It raises people's or professional members' awareness and consciousness or issues relating to ethics and the profession in general. 10. It improves quality and consistency. Summary of Study Session 2. In Study Session 2, please note the following. 1. Values may come from the common purpose for which the organization works, the organization's leadership, or from other sources. 2. Values are defined as enduring beliefs that are personally or socially preferable to converse beliefs, which transcend specific situations, and which guide selection or evaluation of behavior. 3. The reason behind studying ethics in business is to provide direction for businessmen and women to abide by the code of conduct which facilitates, enhances, and promotes public confidence in their products and services delivery. Study Session 3. The characteristics, merits, and demerits of ethics. Introduction. Previously, you have learned about the concept of ethics, morals, and values. In this study session, you will learn the characteristics, merits, and demerits of ethics. The characteristics of ethics. In studying the characteristics of ethics, the following general characteristics of ethics also apply to accounting ethics as listed by A.E.V. 1. Ethics involve learning what is right and wrong and then doing the right thing. 2. Most ethical decisions have uncertain consequences. 3. Most ethical decisions have extended consequences, and in accounting, such consequences could have far-reaching financial and moral implications. 4. Most ethical decisions have multiple alternatives. 5. Most ethical decisions have mixed outcomes. 6. Most ethical decisions have personal implications. Merits of ethical codes. A.E.V enumerated the following non-exhaustive list of merits of ethical codes. 1. Ethical codes assist to standardize accountant's operations, and the methodology he adopts in his professional services or work. 2. Formalized ethical code ensures uniformity of job performance. 3. It serves as a check on members' conduct. 4. It guides members on issues requiring decisions and judgment. 5. It provides the basis for assessment of members' compliance with required or expected standards of professional competence and judgment. 6. It provides a framework for developing good professional practice standards. 7. Code of ethics gives the profession a distinct character or language. 8. Ethically conscious individual professionals are respected and patronized more than ethically less conscious persons. Some people in our society have kicked against ethical codes. The reasons they have are itemized below, though not exhaustive, as listed by A.E.V. 1. The general applicability of codes is based on the assumption that the circumstances of events, situations, services, such as accounting, taxation, and audit services, are somewhere uniform for all firms. 2. That the adoption of uniform standard practices might stifle initiatives of the individuals of firms. 3. That the strict adherence to ethical codes may tend to negate the dynamic nature of the accounting and auditing environment. 4. That compliance with rules of ethics tends to limit the expansion of the frontier of knowledge desirable from the exploration of alternative options and approaches. 5. That rigidity associated with codes tends to restrict their relevance as they are regularly being reviewed in the light of current development. Summary of Study Session 3. In Study Session 3, please note the following. 1. Ethics involve learning what is right and wrong and then doing the right thing. 2. Each society tends to have unwritten and written ethical codes. 3. Some people in our society have kicked against ethical codes. Study Session 4. The Theory of Ethical Reasoning in Corporate Governance. Introduction. In this session, you will be introduced to the importance of ethical codes. You will further learn the importance of ethical reasoning in corporate governance. Meaning of ethical reasoning. Ethical reasoning and judgment refer to the ways in which individuals determine whether a course of action or a stance about an ethical issue is morally right by evaluating various courses of action and taking into account ethical principles. Three main developmental levels of the theory of ethical reasoning. In this theory, it is assumed that individuals tend to move upward along three main developmental levels, starting from what is operationally called the pre-conventional morality. It moves from there to conventional morality and finally to post-conventional morality. Importance of ethics and corporate governance. The importance of ethics and corporate governance in the best interest of the company and the shareholders as stated below. 1. Review and guide corporate strategy, objective setting, major plans of action, risk policy, capital plans, and annual budgets. 2. Oversee major acquisitions and divestitures. 3. Select, compensate, monitor, and replace key executives and oversee succession planning. 4. Align key executive and board remuneration with the longer-term interests of the company and its shareholders. 5. Ensure a formal and transparent board member nomination and election process. 6. Ensure the integrity of the corporation's accounting and financial reporting systems, including their independent audit. 7. Ensure appropriate systems of internal control are established. 8. Oversee the process of disclosure and communications. 9. Where committees of the board are established, their mandate, composition, and working procedure should be well defined and disclosed. Importance of ethical choices in corporate governance. A well-run profession or business must have high and consistent standards of ethics in order to stand fast and to stand the test of time. The impact of ethical behavior by companies cannot be underestimated. It is no surprise that companies that consistently demonstrate ethical behavior and social responsibility generate better results. In successful companies, ethics is so integrated into the organization that it defines how every employee from CEO to the lowest level employee behaves. Ethics is not a separate topic but is incorporated into company strategy. The company makes ethics part of every activity from strategic planning to operational execution. Ethical choices in corporate governance. According to the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, the importance of ethical choices in corporate governance are as follows. 1. One of the most visible positions in any organization in terms of ethics in sales. 2. Ethical behavior and corporate social responsibility can bring significant benefits to a business. 3. Good ethical choices in organizations can make employees want to stay with the business, reduce labor turnover and therefore increase productivity. 4. Good ethical choices in organizations can attract more employees wanting to work for the business. 5. Good ethical choices in organizations can attract investors and keep the company's share price high, thereby protecting the business from takeover. Summary of Study Session 4. In Study Session 4, please note the following. 1. Ethical reasoning and judgment refer to the ways in which individuals determine whether a course of action or a stance about an ethical issue is morally right by evaluating various courses of action and taking into account ethical principles. 2. The corporate governance structure specifies the distribution of rights and responsibilities among different participants in the corporation. 3. By doing this, it also provides the structure through which the company objectives are set and the means of attaining those objectives and monitoring performance. 4. In successful companies, ethics is so integrated into the organization that it defines how every employee from CEO to the lowest level employee behaves. Study Session 5. Moral Reasoning and Moral Theories. Introduction. Over the years, many philosophers have looked into various areas of human life, the way man reasons, and what angle to make the best decision. In this study, you will learn about moral reasoning and different moral theories. Moral reasoning. Moral reasoning can be defined as being the process in which an individual tries to determine the difference between what is right and what is wrong in a personal situation by using logic. This is an important and often daily process that people use in an attempt to do the right thing. According to the American psychologist, Lawrence Kohlberg, people develop through three levels of moral reasoning as needed by situations they encounter. 1. The lowest level of development involves making decisions of morality based on the prospect of punishment, in other words, by trying to avoid getting punished. 2. At the second level, a person perceives absolute right and wrong and believes the law is the judge of morality. 3. A person has reached the highest level when they make moral choices based on social contracts, or unspoken agreements to behave a certain way, and when they can generalize ethical principles beyond their own interests. The most moral reasoning and cognitive moral development of individual accounts were brought to light by Kohlberg's theory of cognitive moral development. Moral theories. The study of moral development as carried out by psychologist Lawrence Kohlberg, discussed two types of moral theories, namely 1. Ethical subjectivism. 2. Cultural relativism. Other moral theories are 1. Divine command theory. 2. Virtue ethics. 3. Feminist ethics. 4. Kantian theory. Summary of Study Session 5. In Study Session 5, please note the following. 1. Moral reasoning can be defined as being the process in which an individual tries to determine the difference between what is right and what is wrong in a personal situation by using logic. 2. The following are moral theories. A. Ethical subjectivism. B. Cultural relativism. C. Divine command theory. D. Virtue ethics. E. Feminist ethics. F. Kantian theory. Study Session 6. Accounting Ethics and Values. Introduction. In this study, you will learn the need for accounting ethics and values, common characteristics of a professional in accounting as a profession, professional code of conduct, and guide to and breach of professional ethics. Ethics and values in accounting. The ethics of human resources management covers those ethical issues arising around the employer-employee relationships, such as the right and duties owed between the employer and employee. Large organizations develop a corporate code of conduct for their employees. They do so to guide employees' actions. Organizations develop an overall corporate code by first ensuring that each department develops its codes, which can become an integral part of the overall corporate code. This includes the accounting profession, whose ethics, code of conduct, and values must be adhered to in the enterprise. Basic requirements for high-level performance in audit and financial accounting. These goals require the fulfillment of 4 basic requirements. 1. Trustworthiness. 2. Professionalism. 3. Quality of services. 4. Trust. Preconditions or fundamental principles, to achieve the goals of the financial auditor and chartered accountant professions. According to Balk and Simeonescu, in order to achieve the goals of the financial auditor and chartered accountant professions, they must meet a number of preconditions or fundamental principles, as follows. 1. Integrity. 2. Impartiality. 3. Professional competence. 4. Confidentiality. 5. Professional conduct. 6. Technical standards. Common characteristics of a professional. All professions have several common characteristics. The most important of these characteristics, as highlighted by Whittington and Pawnee, includes 1. A responsibility to serve the public. 2. A complex body of knowledge. 3. Standards of admission to the profession. 4. A need for public confidence. Accounting is a profession. The accountant is one who is responsible for maintaining and checking the business records of an individual or an organization and preparing reports for tax and other financial purposes. Accountants in various capacities are 1. The chartered accountant as a consultant. 2. The chartered accountant as an auditor. 3. The chartered accountant as an advisor. 4. The chartered accountant as a manager. In Nigeria today, there are 2 recognized professional accounting bodies. They are: the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria was established by Act of Parliament No. 15 of 1965, and the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, came into being through Decree No. 76 of 1993. Accounting ethics. Accounting ethics, according to Weirich and Nunes, pertains to the code that guides the professional conduct of the accountants. It must be understood that maintaining a true and fair financial statement is a key part of financial reporting. Maintaining a true and fair view states is actually considered to be ethically sound too. There is the need to install ethical signposts in the financial statements or even financial reporting that would enhance public assurance and confidence. Professional Code of Conduct. The frontliner and major accounting body in Nigeria is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. This body maintains and enforces a code of professional conduct for chartered accountants. The professional accounting firms recognize the accounting profession's responsibility to provide ethical guidelines to its members since the profession is formed, and 1. A generally accepted body of knowledge. 2. A widely recognized standard of attainment. 3. An enforceable code of ethics. Guide to and breach of professional ethics. The Professional Ethics Guide for Accountants in Nigeria has been prepared by ICANN on the basis of the International Federation of Accountants guidelines. The guide does not provide any detailed advice on the legal obligation or option open to members. However, any breach of those obligations could expose the member to legal action for breaches of criminal or civil law. Members should be aware that breaches of the law could amount to non-compliance with the guide. Where a member is not sure of the right step to take, such a member should seek advice from the association or institute. Summary of Study Session 6. In Study Session 6, please note the following. 1. Large organizations develop a corporate code of conduct for their employees. They do so to guide employees' actions. 2. Common characteristics of professionals involve a responsibility to serve the public, the complex body of knowledge, standards of admission to the profession, a need for public confidence. 3. Accounting ethics pertains to the code that guides the professional conduct of accountants. 4. The frontliner and major accounting body in Nigeria is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. 5. The Professional Ethics Guide for Accountants in Nigeria has been prepared by ICANN on the basis of the International Federation of Accountants guidelines. Study Session 7. The Importance of A.E.V to Accounting Students. Introduction. Previously, you have learned accounting ethics and values, professional code of conduct, and guide to and breach of professional ethics. In this study, the focus will be on the importance of accounting ethics to accounting students and a case study of violations of accounting ethics. The importance of A.E.V to accounting students. Whitting, Pani, and Tazidinmi cited are of the view that careless work and lack of integrity on the part of any accountant or an auditor, in particular, may lead the public to have a negative view toward the entire accountancy profession. 1. The nature of the work carried out by accountants and auditors requires a high level of ethics. Shareholders, potential shareholders, and other users of the financial statements rely heavily on the yearly financial statements of a company as they can use this information to make an informed decision about investment. 2. They rely on the opinion of the accountants who prepared the statements, as well as the auditors that verified it, to present a true and fair view of the company. 3. Knowledge of ethics can help accountants and auditors to overcome ethical dilemmas, allowing for the right choice that, although it may not benefit the company, will benefit the public who relies on the accountant or auditor's reporting. Summary of Study Session 7. In Study Session 7, please note the following. 1. The development of accounting ethics helps to promote awareness and bring about a revolution in ethical adherence to sound accounting practices, as the lack of integrity on the part of any accountant or an auditor, in particular, may lead the public to have a negative view toward the entire accountancy profession. 2. In looking at the recent scandals involving accounting fraud across the globe, one must note that many of these frauds actually arose from unethical accounting practices. Study Session 8. Models and Theories of Accounting Ethics and Values. Introduction. In this study, you will learn the models and theories of accounting ethics and value and laws relating to it. The law, accounting, and ethical values. In Nigeria, the law applied to the preparation of financial states is hinged on Section 331 of the Company and Allied Matters Acts 2002, stipulated in subsection 1 as follows. 1. That every company shall cause accounting records to be kept in accordance with this section. 2. The accounting records shall be sufficient to show and explain the transaction of the company. 3. The accounting record shall, in particular, contains entries from day to day of all sums of money received and expended by the company. Penalties for non-compliance with Section 331 and 332. 1. If a company fails to comply with any position of Section 331 and 332, 1 of this Act, every officer of the company who is in default shall be guilty of an offense unless he shows that he acted honestly and that in the circumstance in which the business of the company was carried on, the default was excusable. 2. Any officer of the company shall be guilty of an offense if he fails to take all reasonable steps for securing compliance by the company with Section 322 of this Act. 3. Any person guilty of an offense under this section shall be liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or a fine of 500 naira. Enforcement of ethical standard. The law and accounting ethics or value. The accounting profession is self-regulated rather than being regulated by the government. ICANN has internal means to enforce the codes of ethics. The power of ICANN to enforce the law and ethical standards is conferred on the Accountants Disciplinary Tribunal. Violation of ethical standards can lead to expulsion or suspension measures. Ethical violations can lead to even more adverse consequences for accountants because of state and federal laws as contained in the Companies and Allied Matters Act, 2004, and in the Nigeria Constitution. Summary of Study Session 8. In Study Session 8, please note the following. 1. The 6 normative theories represent relatively different moral principles that individuals can apply to reason their decisions and actions within organizations: ethical egoism, utilitarianism, deontology, the ethics of care, rights theory, and the theory of justice. 2. In Nigeria, the law applied to the preparation of financial states is hinged on Section 331 of the Company and Allied Matters Act 2002. The accounting profession is self-regulated rather than being regulated by the government. ICANN has internal means to enforce the codes of ethics. The power of ICANN to enforce the law and ethical standards is conferred on the Accountants Disciplinary Tribunal. Study Session 9. Similarities and dissimilarities between law and ethics. Introduction. Society uses both law and ethics to moderate the behavior of its citizen. In this study, you will learn the similarities and dissimilarities between law and ethics. Similarities between law and ethics. Societies generally have 2 ways that they try to encourage positive or good behavior in their members: laws and ethics. Listed below are some of the similarities between law and ethics. 1. Both law and ethics deal with the rights of individuals. However, the law deals with citizenship aspects, while ethics deals with moral aspects. 2. Law and ethics help to achieve order and discipline in society. However, the law refers to established and written regulations by a governing body, while ethics entails the norms set by culture. 3. Law and ethics are both governed behaviors. Law and ethics both indicate acceptable behaviors. But while a law indicates what must be done, ethics indicates what should be done. 4. Law and ethics are both codes. However, a law is a code that has been established by an act of the legislature or by authority. 5. Law and ethics are related. It is an ethic not to break a law. The act of breaking a law is wrong. Differences between law and ethics. According to Imelda, Bailey, Arjun, the following are the differences between law and ethics. 1. Ethics are rules of conduct. Laws are rules developed by governments in order to provide balance in society and protection to its citizens. 2. Ethics comes from people's awareness of what is right and wrong. Laws are enforced by governments on their people. 3. Ethics are moral codes that every person must conform to. Laws are codifications of ethics meant to regulate society. 4. Ethics does not carry any punishment to anyone who violates it. The law will punish anyone who happens to violate it. 5. Ethics comes from within a person's moral values. Laws are made with ethics as a guiding principle. 6. Law regards ethics as a set of limits and something that has to be done, while ethics are a set of principles to guide choices. 7. Laws are geared toward preventing unlawful conduct, while ethics are geared toward achieving responsible conduct. 8. Laws emphasize rules and use increased monitoring and penalties to enforce these rules, while ethics are infused in business practice, leadership, core systems, decision-making processes. Summary of Study Session 9. In Study Session 9, please note the following. 1. Societies generally have 2 ways that they try to encourage positive or good behavior on its members: laws and ethics. Society uses both law and ethics to moderate the behavior of its citizen. But while both are radically different in both what they are and how they operate, they are similar in that they are ways to punish or discourage unwanted behavior. 2. These are some of the dissimilarities in law and ethics. Ethics come from within a person's moral values. Laws are made with ethics as a guiding principle. Ethics comes from people's awareness of what is right and wrong. Laws are enforced by governments to their people. Ethics are moral codes that every person must conform to. Laws are codifications of ethics meant to regulate society. Study Session 10. Framework for Ethical Decision-Making. Introduction. Each society tends to have written and unwritten ethical codes, no matter how primitive or civilized the society may be. In this study, you will learn the meaning of ethical codes and the framework for ethical decision-making. Ethical codes in accountancy. The state of development of the society will always invariably help to shape the ethical code of any professional body in such a society. We must also quickly point out that this list is by no means really not exhaustive. They are: 1. Ethical codes help to standardize an accountant's operations, and the methodology he adopts in his professional service or work. 2. Formalized ethical code ensures uniformity of job performance. 3. To serve as a check on members' conduct. 4. It guides members on issues requiring decisions and judgment. 5. It provides the basis of assessment of members' compliance with the required or expected standard of professional competence and judgment. 6. It provides a framework for developing good professional practice standards. 7. Code of Ethics gives the profession a distinct character or language. It defines the professional services and operational coherence, which impact on the communities, be it business or otherwise, with effective quality. 8. Ethically conscious individual professionals are respected and patronized more than the ethically less conscious individual. A framework for ethical decision-making. According to the Mark Kula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara University, there is a framework for good ethical decision-making. This framework is presented below. 1. Recognize an ethical issue. 2. Get the facts. 3. Evaluate alternative actions. 4. Make a decision and test it. 5. Act and reflect on the outcome. Summary of Study Session 10. In Study Session 10, please note the following. 1. The accountancy bodies such as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and the Association of Accountants of Nigeria or any accountancy body, in general, provide ethical codes to guide the action of its members. 2. According to the Mark Kula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara University, there is a framework for good ethical decision-making. It involves recognizing an ethical issue, getting the facts, evaluating alternative actions, making a decision and testing it, acting and reflecting on the outcome. Study Session 11. Policy and Active Ethical Conduct. Introduction. Large organizations develop a corporate code of conduct for their employees. They do so to guide employees' actions. In this study, you will learn the policy and active ethical conduct. Policy and active ethical conduct. Organizations develop an overall corporate code by first developing its codes, which can become an integral part of the overall corporate code. Those interested in developing codes of conduct can take a clue from the guidelines prescribed below. The following guidelines can be considered when developing codes of conduct. 1. You must identify the key ethical value your organization cherishes most. 2. Then proceed to identify key behaviors needed to adhere to the ethical values you cherish most. 3. Include appropriate work that indicates that all employees are expected to conform to the defined behavior. 4. Prepare a draft copy of the Code of Conduct and circulate it. 5. Obtain review from key members of the organization. 6. Announce and distribute the new Code of Conduct to all your staff. You must ensure that each employee has a copy of the code. 7. Post codes in each employee's office. 8. In preparing the corporate code of conduct, you must appreciate that you cannot include preferred behavior for every possible ethical dilemma that might arise. Policies and procedures of ethical conduct. The following policies and procedures can be adopted. 1. Update policies and procedures to produce behavior preferred by the code of conduct. 2. Produce behavior that aligns with the organization, values, policies, and procedures. 3. Include policies and procedures to address ethical dilemmas. 4. Include policies and procedures to ensure training of employees about the ethics management program. 5. Include policies and procedures to reward ethical behavior and impose consequences for unethical behaviors. 6. Include a grievance policy for employees to sue to resolve a disagreement with superiors and staff. 7. Conduct in-house training to improve the level of adherence. Cost of unethical conduct. There are two broad cost targets involved in unethical conduct, namely, cost to the doer and the cost to the victims. Cost to the doer involves the following. 1. Cost of covering evidence of unethical behavior. 2. Loss of trust. 3. Cancelled communication. 4. Declining loyalty. 5. Forfeiture of bright careers. 6. Imprisonment. 7. Loss of patronage. 8. Image damage. 9. Costly litigation. Cost to the victims involves the following. 1. Civil losses. 2. Social losses. Summary of Study Session 11. In Study Session 11, please note the following. 1. Large organizations develop a corporate code of conduct for their employees. They do so to guide employees' actions. 2. In developing codes of conduct, policies and procedures for ethical conduct must be included to produce behavior that aligns with the organization, values, policies, and procedures and also to address ethical dilemmas. 3. There are two broad cost targets involved in unethical conduct: the cost to the doer and the cost to the victims, civil losses and social losses. Study Session 12. Public Sector Ethics. Introduction. In this study, you will learn about the meaning of public service and civil service, the ideal behavior expected of the public servant, and the principles of good public service ethics. You will also learn about the public service ethics infrastructure or backbone. The public sector. In the public sector, ethics addresses the fundamental premise of a public administrator's duty as a steward to the public. The public sector can be subdivided into two broad levels. 1. The political level. This refers to the political institutions that are responsible for the formulation of policies and major decisions. 2. The administrative level. This refers to the public sector administration that implements the policies and decisions taken at the political level. Meaning of public service and civil service. Public sector administration could also distinguish between public service and civil service. The public service of Nigeria is defined by Section 318, 1 of the 1999 Constitution to include the following categories of officers. 1. Staff of the national or state houses of assembly. 2. Members of staff of the judiciary. 3. Members of staff of any commission or authority established by the Constitution of Acts of the National Assembly or State Assembly. 4. Staff of local government area council. 5. Staff of any statutory corporation. 6. Staff of any educational institution established or financed by the federal government or any state or local government. Ideal behavior expected of public servants. Most of these traits are universally accepted and applied. 1. Non-discriminatory. 2. Discipline. 3. Loyalty. 4. Accountability. 5. Honesty and transparency. 6. Respect for constituted authority. 7. Punctuality and absenteeism. Principles of good public sector ethics. The principles are intended to be used by each county according to its own needs. 1. Public service ethical standards should be clear and unambiguous. 2. The legal framework should reflect the ethical standards. 3. Every public servant should have access to ethical standards and norms. 4. It is a duty to know their rights and obligations when exposing wrongdoing. 5. Political commitment to ethics should reinforce the ethical conduct of public servants. 6. There should be transparency in the decision-making process and it should be open to scrutiny. 7. Principles of public life. The principles are usually regarded as the principles of public life and they are as follows. 1. Selflessness. 2. Integrity. 3. Objectivity. 4. Accountability. 5. Openness. 6. Honesty. 7. Leadership. Public service ethics infrastructure. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has identified 8 key components of an ethics infrastructure as follows. 1. Political commitment. 2. Workable codes of conduct. 3. Professional socialization mechanisms. 4. Existence of central ethics coordinating body. 5. Supportive public service conditions. 6. Effective legal framework. 7. Efficient accountability mechanisms. Political commitment. Political commitment and leadership are perhaps the most significant elements of the ethical infrastructure of public life. Since Nigeria's independence in 1960, various regimes both civilian and military have embarked on various programs aimed at eradicating corruption and enthroning ethical behavior in both the private and public sectors of the country. Some of the enactments/programs in this direction include 1. Corrupt Practices Decree of 1975. 2. Public Complaints Commission Decree of 1975. 3. Code of Conduct Bureau of 1979. 4. Ethical Revolution of 1981. 5. War Against Indiscipline of 1984. 6. Corrupt Practices Decree of 1984. 7. Foreign Exchange Decree in 1995. 8. Money Laundering Decree in 1995. Workable Codes of Ethics. There are many existing codes of ethics in the Nigerian public sector. We shall mention the principal ones. 1. Code of Conduct for Public Officers. 2. Codification of offenses and sanctions under federal government financial regulations. 3. Public Procurement Act, Code of Conduct. 4. Public Service Rules, Discipline. 5. Criminal Code. 6. Independent and Other Corrupt Practices Commission. 7. EFCC. 8. Code of Conduct for Minister and Special Advisors. 9. Code of Conduct for Legislators. Professional Socialization Mechanisms. Socialization mechanisms are the processes through which ethical norms, standards of conduct, and public service values are learned and adopted by public servants. 1. The General Public Enlightenment Campaign under the Ethical Revolution of 1981. 2. The Campaign Against Indiscipline under the War Against Indiscipline of 1985. 3. The establishment of the National Orientation Agency. 4. The Independent and Other Corrupt Practices Commission. 5. Service Compact with All Nigerians established in 2004. 6. Nigeria's Rebranding Project 2009. Existence of Central Ethics Coordinating Body. A Central Ethics Coordinates Body can take various forms. 1. Parliamentary committees. 2. Specially created bodies or agencies to oversee ethics in the public service. Effective legal framework. The legal framework is the overall system of laws, rules, and regulations that define the basic ethical standards of behavior for public servants and the enforcement of these standards through investigations and prosecutions. For the ethical infrastructure to be effective, existing criminal codes, conflict of interest laws, and other regulations must be clear, consistent, and unambiguous. Other legal enforcement mechanisms in Nigeria include the Special Fraud Unit of the Nigerian Police, the EFCC, the Public Complaints Commission, and the ICPC. Efficient accountability mechanism. Such mechanisms include 1. Internal administrative procedures. 2. Comprehensive processes such as audits and evaluations of an institution's performance. 3. Whistleblowing procedures. 4. Consultation mechanisms such as community advisory boards. 5. Oversight mechanisms such as legislative committees. Summary of Study Session 12. In Study Session 12, please note the following. 1. The state or public sector is the government with all its departments, ministries, parastatals, businesses, services, federal/state/local government administrations, and other institutions. 2. The civil servants are public servants. On the other hand, not all public servants are civil servants. 3. There are certain behavioral traits that public servants are expected to display in the discharge of their official responsibilities. 4. To be effective, a system of public sector ethics should possess some common principles necessary to evaluate institutions, systems, and mechanisms used to promote compliance with ethical means.